Picture this. It's the 1950s. You step into a bustling diner, slide into a booth, and the waitress brings you a crisp salad, drizzled with a dressing that's bold, tangy, and absolutely unforgettable. But here's the thing. Most of the dressings we know today, they've changed. What was once rich and full of real ingredients has often turned into something overly sweet and bottled beyond recognition. So today, we're bringing back 3 classic vintage dressings just as they were meant to be. We've got the zesty 1950s style French dressing, the creamy and iconic Thousand Island, and a tangy old school vinaigrette that's perfect for more than just salads. And trust me, once you taste these, you might never go back to the store-bought stuff again. So grab your mixing bowls and let's whisk up some history.
Welcome to Apaulo's Diner.
Hello my friends and fellow Polonians, welcome back to Apaulo's Diner. I'm your host Apollo Jupiter, and if there's one thing that can truly make or break a salad, it's the dressing. And back in the day, these weren't just an afterthought. They were bold, flavorful, and made with real ingredients. So today, we're bringing back 3 of the best. Tangy, creamy, and just like they used to make them. Let's get started. Off to our first dressing. Our first dressing takes us straight back to the 1950s, a time when diners were packed, steakhouses ruled the restaurant scene, and salads weren't just a side dish but an event on their own. And what topped those salads? A bold, zesty French dressing, not the creamy orange version we see today, but a smooth, tangy, oil-based classic. Now, did you know that despite the name French dressing is actually an American invention? By the 1920s, it started appearing in cookbooks, and by the 1950s, it was a staple in every good steakhouse and diner. The bright orange version we see today? That came much later with bottled dressings and added emulsifiers. For our vintage version, we'll need 3/4 cup or 180 milliliters of vegetable oil or a light olive oil, 1/4 cup or 60 milliliters of white vinegar or cider vinegar for a bit more tang, 1/4 cup or 60 milliliters of ketchup, a tablespoon of Worcester sauce, 2 tablespoons of sugar, or you could use honey for more subtle sweetness, a teaspoon of dry mustard or prepared yellow mustard, half a teaspoon of paprika powder, half a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, and half a teaspoon of onion powder, or you could also use finely minced onion, and optional 1 small garlic clove, minced. To make it, start by whisking together the vinegar, ketchup, Worcester sauce, the sugar, mustard, the paprika, salt, pepper, onion powder, and the garlic. Once everything's combined, slowly drizzle in the oil while whisking continuously until the dressing is smooth and emulsified. Look at that, glossy, rich, and full of flavor. Let it sit for at least an hour so the flavors can fully develop, and then drizzle it over crisp lettuce, cucumbers, and tomatoes for the perfect mid-century salad. It's amazing. Next up, we have the creamy, tangy, and unmistakably vintage Thousand Island dressing, the dressing of choice for steakhouses, diners, and of course, the classic Reubens sandwich. Now here's a fun bit of history. The origins of Thousand Island dressing are a bit mysterious. Some say it was created in the early 1900s in the Thousand Islands region of New York, possibly by a fishing guide's wife. Others claim it made its way onto fine dining menus through a New York hotel chef. Whatever the truth, by the 1950s, this dressing was everywhere. For our authentic version, you'll need 1 cup or 240 milliliters of mayonnaise, a quarter cup or 60 milliliters of ketchup, a tablespoon of white vinegar, or you could also use lemon juice, a generous tablespoon of sweet pickle relish, or you could use finely chopped dill pickles with half a teaspoon of sugar per tablespoon to mimic the sweetness, a teaspoon of Worcester sauce, a teaspoon of yellow mustard, a hard-boiled egg finely chopped, which is optional but very authentic, a teaspoon of finely minced onion, half a teaspoon of paprika powder, and salt and black pepper to taste. This one is as easy as it gets. Just whisk together the mayonnaise, the ketchup, the vinegar, the relish, the Worcester sauce, and the yellow mustard until smooth. Then stir in the minced onion, paprika, and that finely chopped egg if you want to go full vintage, and season with salt and pepper to taste. And there it is, creamy, tangy, and packed with flavor. Let it chill for about an hour before serving, and then use it for salads, sandwiches, or as the perfect burger sauce. Finally, we're stepping even further back in time with a classic vintage vinaigrette. The kind you'd find in elegant supper clubs and European-style restaurants in the early 20th century. Before creamy dressings took over, vinaigrettes like this were the standard. They were mixed tableside by waiters in fine dining establishments, giving salads a touch of showmanship. For this beautifully balanced dressing, we'll need a quarter cup or 60 milliliters of red wine vinegar or apple cider vinegar for a fruitier tang, half a teaspoon of Dijon mustard or dry mustard for an old-fashioned touch, a small garlic clove finely minced or crushed, half a teaspoon of fine sea salt, a quarter teaspoon ground black pepper, half a teaspoon of sugar or honey, which is optional for balance, half a cup or 120 milliliters of a neutral vegetable oil or extra virgin olive oil if you prefer a stronger taste, a teaspoon of Worcester sauce, which is optional for added depth, half a teaspoon of fresh lemon juice for extra tang, half a teaspoon of dried herbs such as oregano, thyme, or tarragon, and a teaspoon of finely chopped shallots, which is optional but very vintage. To make it, start by whisking together the vinegar, mustard, garlic, salt, pepper, and sugar if you're using it. Then slowly drizzle in the oil while whisking continuously until the mixture emulsifies. This is the secret to getting that perfect smooth consistency. For extra depth, stir in the Worcester sauce, lemon juice, dried herbs, and shallots if you're using them. Then let the mixture sit for 15 minutes to let the flavors melt, and then give it a quick stir before serving. And there it is, light, tangy, and incredibly versatile. Use it on fresh greens, marinated vegetables, or even as a dressing for a chilled seafood salad. Amazing. And there you have it, my friends. 3 classic vintage dressings just as they were meant to be. Whether it's the bold and tangy French dressing, the rich and creamy Thousand Island, or that zesty vintage vinaigrette, these flavors bring a little piece of history right to your plate. And let's be honest, once you've tasted the real thing, there's no going back to the bottled stuff. So tell me, which of these dressings are you excited to try first? Let me know in the comments. And if you love bringing vintage flavors back to life, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more timeless recipes. And while you're here, why not check out some more vintage classics? I've got plenty more where that came from. As always, my friends and fellow Apollonians, thank you very much for spending your time with me here at Apaulo's Diner. I'm wishing you warmth, joy, and delicious meals. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video.